I'm going to kind of go quickly through the next section because I'm going to talk about cybersecurity's role in this. And I'm going to think as professionals, what do we have to do differently? Are we being sustainable in our practices? Are we helping the poor? That's a very different discussion, but that requires us to think differently. Number two, it requires us to collaborate differently, but exceptionally effectively. What I mean by that is we can't talk at each other. Like Ranier and I just going back and forth, we're actually engaging and sharing, right? We have to think outside the box. I think in the future, cybersecurity leaders have to think like enterprise architects, meaning they have to think about it holistically, not just on the control of the policy or the operational process or technologies. They have to think about the business, the users, the environment, the development, the infrastructure, and the life cycle. And this requires you to think differently. The other thing about the future is the technology stack is becoming exceptionally complex. And this is the highest level I could explain this in, between people, experiences, devices, networks, apps, all the way on the business development, all the way to regulators. These technology stacks are exceptionally complicated. And then you put all these on a distributed cloud, which is not under your control, where 90% of the code was written by someone else. And this creates a cybersecurity nightmare. So in threat modeling, it means we have to think about threat, risk, and impacts in a standard way. And there are two ways to think about threat models. One is a general way, one's a specific way. In this year, in 2022, these are the top 5 threats we're dealing with today, by the way. And you'll hear this theme as we're talking about the future: sophisticated malware, third-party security, global conflict, and APT, which is advanced persistent threat, open source security. And people aren't part of the workforce, not work in the office. And this creates significant challenges. And I think that for the cybersecurity community and the professionals within that community, I think there's great opportunities. Everything we've talked about here, though you have identified it correctly as problems, also represents an opportunity, by the way, because someone's got to solve these things, and I think that this requires new roles, new skills, and new tools.